Wow! 77,963,140. Finally, that will be enough to graduate from Dagdarone. That will be enough for sure. Haha, the positioning and everything is key. But yep, that's the strat right here. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Whoa, hold up a second. Hold up. I'm just kidding, guys. Alright, so let's rewind that a little bit. I'm going to show you guys a strategy that I use. Obviously, there are multiple different approaches that you can use to tackle Dagdarone right now. But I'll give you guys what method I use in order to try to tackle Dagdarone and get the maximum score of 75 million. Okay, let's rewind the video a little bit. Cut, hold up. Alright, nobody's interested to watch like what am I eating for lunch. Let's forward a little bit, alright, to where it all started. The Dagdarone strat, that's where it all matters. Nobody cares about this lunch bullshit nonsense cooking stuff. Hey, what is up guys? Dagdarone here, welcome back to another Brave 9 video, and today we'll be looking at Dagdarone and how you can tackle Dagdarone and get that 75 million score. Alright, so before we begin, I want to address a very crucial, important thing to note about this strategy. There are a lot of players that assume that you're gonna need I plus 10. No, you don't need I plus 10. In the strategy that I show you, you will only need Helga plus 10. Now, if you guys are not aware, Helga plus 10 gives massive buffs, and not only does she buff your warriors and defenders, she also buff your supporters. And in this case, we're going to use her to buff our supporters, right? So both, I'm using Rafitia as well as Isabel, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so both of them will get massive buffs, support percent will increase significantly higher off the roof, and that way you're going to be able to give your units much more damage than usual. Now, Rafitia is pretty much the main strategy unit that you'll need because she provides healing as well alongside with that. I've seen a couple of strategies that you do not need Rafitia. You're gonna need Helena and stuff, but those are going to be much more harder to achieve for most players because you need a bunch of other supporters that provides healing. I would say if you have Rafitia plus 12, it's going to make your life a lot easier in trying to beat Dagdarone. Okay, so how do you beat this fat Iron Man guy? Alright, so the best way to approach this, so your objective is to make sure that Dagdarone's vulnerable status gets activated, alright, when guard status ends, right? So how do you do this? By hitting him a number of total 18 times. So once 18 times, he is vulnerable, his chest will open, exposing his fat Iron Man inner power core. Alright, so that's when you strike. So you want to strike with a number of stacks. You want to stack weakening. Alright, stats weakening, Orient and Arisa works very well. You want to stack DOT as well. Burn from Catherine works very well as well. And of course, do keep in mind, Dagdarone has the ability to reduce incoming damage. Right here, you can see even in recover status or vulnerable status, he always have this incoming damage minus 70%. So this is his barrier. It's very annoying to deal with that. So your objective is to use something that ignores incoming damage reduction. Something like Eldora, Barbara, alright? Things like that works well. So in my case, I'm not going to use Barbara because I don't have a Barbara plus 15. I'm going to use Eldora plus 10. Okay, so let me explain the strategy behind this entire formation. Who are the core mercenaries right here? So like I mentioned earlier in this video, I'm going to use the Helga method. Alright, we have Helga. Your I doesn't need plus 10. Alright, I plus 1 is going to be enough. And then you have Catherine and Eldora. So Catherine needs plus 13. Eldora plus 10 on mine. So yeah, everything else is pretty standard. Alright, you have Christina. Ileana can be replaced any 3 multi-hits. Alright, Wilhelmina will work, or anyone that can hit 3 times. Dr. Morgan and BDMN will not work because they will have co-op with her, with Christina, that might mess things up. So you want multi-hit that hits 3 times. So Ileana seems to be something that's much more achievable. So the entire goal right here is for Helga to buff the supporters right here. Helga buff supporters. Alright, notice you want to avoid placing Helga near your warriors, which is there. So keep in mind that Dagdarone will reflect counter you in a cross tile. Very huge cross tile, right? So that's why I put all my mages at the bottom. Can you see? We have Eldora, Catherine, Zarka, Helga, and all my warriors on top. Alright, most of them, except for Orion right here. But yeah, that's the entire strategy. You don't want anyone to be in within cross tiles with Helga. That's the only key thing right here. And preferably Catherine as well, because Catherine, her damage will rely on her HP, right? So you want her to have as high HP as possible. So Helga dies round 2, your Raphithia, okay, your Raphithia right here, and your Isabel will give a ton of buffs, insanely high amount of buffs, and that will be enough. If you don't have Raphithia, you can use a different approach where it involves on healing and stuff, but Raphithia just make things so easy right here, right? Because Dagdarone will basically counter kill any of your mercenaries, and if you don't have Raphithia, I think this is going to be a big struggle for most players. Now again, I'm not entirely sure if how viable is the other strat where you need Helena, because Helena is not something that many players would build. Like, you might as well just build Raphithia. I know like Legend skill books is quite hard to come by, especially if you don't pick Raphithia from the Jumpstart quest. Building her from the scratch is going to be a big struggle for most players. But again, Dagdarone is something that only the end game players want to strive for. Like, if you are new, right, don't worry about Dagdarone. Alright, you want to focus on Arcstar, Ogdot, Zaratan, and Therion. So that 4 should be your focus. So Gorgona and Dagdarone is probably the harder world bosses because these are the 2 later ones. Alright, so let me show you guys the strat right here. So hopefully you guys can observe it for yourself. Okay, so we have everybody going in. So we have Christina going in right there. And then we're going to buff I. Make sure Catherine and Eldora is within the buff range as well. Boom. Okay, so now Lyudmila hits. Okay, Lyudmila will need 14, 15, or I think we'll need at least 14 for Lyudmila to get the highest incoming damage boost. So now Helga, round 2 Helga dies. So your objective is to make sure that Helga survives round 1 and dies at round 2. And after that, now Helga dies, right? So now, we don't have to worry about anything else. Because from this point onwards, your I and your Catherine and your Eldora, they will receive the massive buffs. So everybody still goes in with the incoming damage. So Catherine right there. Catherine jacking up the score for you slightly. And then we have Eldora. Boom! So notice Eldora is the one dealing most of the damage. Okay. So pretty straightforward. Boom. Alright. So before we jump onto the runes, let me show you guys what units I have currently. So I have Lyudmila plus 15, Christina plus 15. Again, Christina and Lyudmila doesn't need plus 15. I believe Christina can use at plus 0 even. You just need her to hit 5 times. Alright, so, but Isabel, right here, she will need very high skill level, at least plus 14 to 15. Alright, Ileana doesn't need high skill level as long as she can hit 3 times. That's what she's there for. Orion plus 10 preferably. Raphithia preferably plus 12 and above. Denarisa plus 10, okay, just so that she gets a maximum amount of incoming damage. Alright, so that's the point. You want to stack as much of this incoming damage to Dagdarone. And Lyudmila does it in the form of her this skill right here. Notice she does it in her attack interference form, where she boosts incoming damage by 300%, which is crazy, right? So same goes for I. So I has this skill. Notice incoming damage plus 200%, but this is at plus 0. Alright, if your I is plus 10, she can get it up to 300%. And this is my Orion plus 10, okay? And then of course we have Eldora, I, Catherine, Zarka plus 10, Helga is plus 15, alright? Now, do you need Helga plus 15? No, you don't. you're not using her for buff prohibition. You're using her mostly for her first skill. So I believe the first skill is modified. This skill right here. Alright, as long as she gets the 100% stats, if I'm not mistaken, at plus 10. Right now she gets that already, which is pretty good. Alright, which is why Helga is still good. Okay, if you want to use the Helga strat, I would say this is a much better strat compared to going for I plus 10. Right? I think this approach is much better in my opinion. Okay, so now let's jump onto the runes. And I can show you guys a couple of things that you can consider. Catherine and Eldora. First things first, Catherine, I've tried a Vital, both Vital or both Rage or Vital Rage. I find that Vital Rage seems to give the best results. Alright, again, this is depending on what kind of runes you have, like which of your runes is better, right? But Vital Rage seems to be the better sweet spot. And you can see definitely there are room for improvements in terms of my runes. Like none of these are good runes. This is just a rare plus. One more rare plus. Alright. Let me show you my Eldora's runes as well. Again, Eldora plus 10. But look at my runes. Nothing special. None of these are like legend plus, right? This is epic plus, okay? It's AAB. And a rare plus assault, 40.9%. Now you can see there's still room for improvements. So I got 77 million. The graduation point for Dagdarone is 75 million, right? So if I improve my runes, I have some legend runes laying around, I could easily get it to 80 or 90 million even. I strongly believe so. So yeah, there's still definitely the gap to improve right there. So make sure you guys take advantage. I do think this is a solid strat. So hopefully with this strategy out there, hopefully most of you guys will be able to graduate from Dagdarone, achieving the max score of 75 million, getting all the diamonds and ancient coins that you have. Alright guys, so that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you do, subscribe, give this video a like. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.